In this video, I'm going to review the Unit 9 study guide for ratio tables and graphing ratio tables. So here are just the review sections. There's how to find an equivalent ratio, how to determine if a ratio table is proportional, and then here is some little tutorial on how to graph a ratio table. So starting with problems number 1 and number 2, you had to fill in those ratio tables. And so if we look at the first ratio table, I need to figure out how do I get from 3 to 1. So I would do that by dividing by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. So then I have to do 186 divided by 3. And if you do 186 divided by 3, you end up with 62. Now, if I continue to move forward in that table, I'm going to move from the 1 because that's the most simplified form, and I'm going to go to 7. So 1 times 7, so then I have to do 62 times 7. And 62 times 7 gives you 434. And then again, I'm going to go back to the 1, and I'm going to come out to the 11. So 1 times 11 would be 11. And 62 times 11 would be 682. Now remember, if you have trouble looking at them in the tables like this, you could set up a fraction. Oops. So I could have done 62 over 1 is equivalent to 11 with a blank. And then you have to say, okay, well, I can multiply times 11 on the bottom, so I have to multiply times 11 on the top to get my answer. Same thing with the next one. So I need to fill in this blank here with the gallons. Can the 3 with the blank help me to get to 25? No. Could the 125 to the 25 help me to get there? Probably. So I need to figure out how do I get from 125 to 25? Well, I'm going to have to divide, and I'm going to have to divide by 5. So whatever I do at the top, I also have to do to the bottom. So I have to divide by 5. Now I couldn't use the 3 because there was a blank up here and I couldn't get to 25. 25 was the number I knew, so I had to find another number that I knew in the same column. So 5 divided by 5 would be 1. The other way you could have written it is you could have said, okay, well, I have 125 over 5. I need to get to 25 over blank. How do I get there? Well, I would divide by 5. So it's the same thing I'm doing in the table. You're just setting it up as a ratio. Now that I know that one, I can now get from this blank for the 3 because I know the 1. So I know 1 times 3 will be 3. So now I need to do 25 times 3, which will be 75. And then there's more than one way to get out to this 12. You could use the 3 one because 3 times 4 is 12. You could also use the 1 because 1 times 12 is 12. I'm going to use the 1 just because I like to use the most simplified fraction. So I'm going to go from 1 times 12 is 12. So then I have to do 25 times 12. And if you do 25 times 12, you get 300. And another way you could have looked at that is you could have said, okay, I have 25 over 1. I need to get to 12. So I multiply times 12, and 25 times 12 would have given me that 300. So there's always more than one way to solve these problems. Looking at number 3, it says make a graph that illustrates the equivalent ratios to shown in the table. So all you're doing is plotting these points. So remember you have to walk and fly x and y. So I'm going to go over to 2 and then up to 5. So 5 would be around in here somewhere because this would be 6. And this one would be 10, 14, 16, 18. And this one would be 2. And then I'm going to go to 4, 10. And then 6, 15. Somewhere in there. And then 8 to 20. And just a reminder, your line, oops, that was too high. That one right there, because it was above 16. Oops. Let me erase. There we go. So what was it, 615? Can't go the whole way up to 16. Got to be a little bit below, and then I have 820. So I had an idea that that dot was wrong because it wasn't in a nice, pretty straight line, and I'm going to try my best. Remember, you start at the origin to draw a nice straight line, and that would be your graph. For number 4, it says a hair salon uses 4 bottles of shampoo for every 3 bottles of conditioner. Use the graph to find the number of bottles of conditioner that are used for 8 bottles of shampoo. So I'm going to make a quick little table. So I have shampoo to conditioner, and they're giving me the ratio of 4 bottles of shampoo for 3 bottles of conditioner. So 4 bottles of shampoo to 3 bottles of conditioner. And then they're asking for 8 bottles of shampoo. And I'm looking for the conditioner. So I'm going to use the table here. Remember, the top one is X and the bottom one is Y. So shampoo, I'm going to go to 4 to 3, and they have that on the graph for us. Now I need to go to 8. So, well, 8 matches up with 6 of the conditioner, so I'm going to need 6 bottles of conditioner. That's how you solve that one. All right, number 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the ratios proportional? So that just means, do the equivalent fractions work out? So is there something I can multiply times 6 to make 18? I can. I can multiply by 3. And is 4 times 3 12? It is, so this is yes. Is there something I can multiply times 9 to make 36? There is. I can multiply times 4, but is 2 times 4 6? It's not, so this is no. So those ones aren't proportional. And then remember, for the graphs, does this graph represent a proportional relationship? Well, it has to be a straight line in order for it to be proportional. So this one is a yes. But if I look at this one has like a wonky curve to it. So this one is no. It has to be a nice, pretty straight line right out from the origin. If you have any questions on your study guide, please make sure that you let your teacher know and ask any questions that you